Hello and welcome to another edition, episode 39 of the Are You Ready Wrestling podcast here on Newport City Radio. This week, I'm Luke and I'm going to kick off by talking about the hottest segment of the week, John Cena's promo from Monday Night Raw.
Hi, I'm Jack, and my segment this week will be going over seemingly Rhea Ripley has signed her name on the Bianca Belair and Io Shirai contract.
Hi, I'm Curtis, and for my segment this week, I'm talking about a mega match that's been announced for WrestleMania.
Indeed it has. There's always a lot going on.
Especially around WrestleMania season.
Yes.
There is nothing like the road to WrestleMania, is there?
Oh, no.
Nope.
There was nothing in professional wrestling or in sport that compares to the road to WrestleMania. How are we doing, guys?
No, I'm good.
I'm
Not
good,
bad.
thanks.
You okay, Jack?
Yes.
And obviously Curtis as well. So that's my right.
As always.
Have you been eating all over the place this week? I'm sure
I've actually been really busy this week, to be fair.
Have you not been eating wherever you've gone, though?
Not really, no.
No?
I've been saying yeet a lot more, though.
Good.
Just randomly, yeet. I don't know why, I just sit there and just go yeet. It's stuck in my head, honestly, but it's a good thing because, as we say, WrestleMania's coming up soon, so...
It is. WrestleMania 41 is less than a month away.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, and there's so many mega matches. You've just mentioned or teased one that's been announced on SmackDown on Friday. Curtis will come to you a little bit later, but we'll start with what I think is the biggest segment of the week, the hottest talking point of the week. Now we've all been there with breakups. We've been there when we've had our first, and we always find it quite painful. But how do we find being broken up with by someone who we've been kind of in a relationship with for 25 years, as he says? How did we feel?
I'm struggling, to be honest. Is the word I can say for that.
Yeah, it's been a rough few days, I can't lie.
It's been a rough couple of weeks, Curtis. I think ever since the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, Elimination Chamber was like the shock. It was the shock factor, I think, and then
It was the breakup, and now this is the
Aftermath.
This is the divorce.
This is the divorce.
This is the divorce of it. Signed papers, the lot. See, look, sign it now, look.
We need your signature as well to make it official. There you go.
Can we get yours as well, Luke?
Shall I do the Rhea Ripley and interfere?
Yeah, go on.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. Obviously, we are mentioning the John Cena promo. First time we heard from him since the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event and that ending, which shocked the entire wrestling world, where he did turn heel and aligned himself with The Rock, which none of us saw coming. We can say we did with the benefit of hindsight, but in reality, none of us saw it coming.
No, it was... Yeah, there's no words to describe the shock factor of no one... Like, nobody... it was normally with certain things you see them kind of predicting it online, or like so much rumours as you could say.
Like Naomi, for example.
Yeah, like the tease of it. They kept this.
No one was reporting it. There was no
one. Absolutely no one reported this, and like kind of there was no rumours of it online. No one predicted it really. Like it was the biggest shock, I'd say. It is the biggest shock, I'd say.
But it did happen.
It did.
John Cena turned heel.
His first promo as a heel.
Yes, we did hear on Monday Night Raw in Brussels, in Belgium, the second leg of their 3-week European tour. Obviously, they started off in Barcelona, and as we sit here, we've seen Friday Night SmackDown from Bologna in Italy. Before we talk about the John Cena stuff, how do we feel about the start to this European tour?
Very, very good.
Very solid, yeah. Very solid start.
It's opened up wrestling to even more worldwide. It's giving more opportunities of WWE going to different places as well as just staying in America. I think it's good that they're coming to London as well. It's always good when they come to the UK. No matter even if it's WWE, AEW, any form of wrestling in the UK always goes down well. But especially the road to WrestleMania, it's even bigger. Which they've just opened a shop in London actually in the O2.
Yes, they have.
The WWE shop thing.
The UFC were there last night.
Yeah, UFC was there last night. So I think it's a TKO type thing. It's a WWE/UFC shop. But overall, the European tour, we still got quite a lot of dates to come as well.
I think we've still got another week.
Maybe? Yeah, I think we've got another week. They're in London on Friday.
Yes.
Aren't they back there a couple of days later?
On Monday, I believe.
Monday, yeah.
Not this Monday coming. Next Monday. They're in London again. So that'll be I think 8 p.m. UK start time, I think.
Yeah.
So
they're in Glasgow this Monday, is it?
Yeah. Glasgow.
Yes.
Glasgow 8 p.m. again. Because I seen a TikTok on it earlier. But I think overall the tour has been solid.
The European crowds are just something different.
It's like look at when Randy came out. The electricity of the stuff. I think overall, like everyone's getting a decent pop, either boos or cheers. I do know someone who did get a massive boo. Very, very big boo, but boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, boo-hoo.
You obviously talk about John Cena.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was speculation online whether he would have new music to fit with him being a heel. I think people were making reference to the fact it was 20 years to the day on Monday that he debuted. The time is now his legendary at this point theme. People were saying 20 years on, is it the day that he finally gets new music? It wasn't. People were saying, are we going to see a new look for John Cena? We know he sold his soul to The Rock. Could we see maybe a corporate Cena? Maybe very similar to Cody in the suits and ties of the world? There was no new music.
Nope.
There was no new look from John Cena.
Nope.
Is that the most heelish thing he could have done?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yes, but no. I think his promo was even worse.
We'll come to you in a second, Curtis. Jack, you wanted to say something.
Yes. We had nothing from gear standpoint. He had no new gear, new theme.
Well, he kind of did because he had his shirt was colours of Belgium.
Subliminally red, yeah.
Which obviously you could buy, so... Yeah, great bit of...
I just...
No yeet.
I just believe that the turn is justifiable in some ways, but I'm still, as you say, struggling to wrap my head round.
Yeah, struggling comprehending the fact that he is actually a heel in WWE.
He starts off his promo by saying that he's been the victim of an abusive relationship for 25 years.
Yes.
Which has led him to obviously turn heel. I get it. 100% I get where he's coming from. And I get the turn. Could they have done it before when there was a bit more, when he was a bit more full-time, there was a bit more heat on him, maybe, rather than a retirement tour? Maybe. Maybe the mid-2010s when he was...
I think
TV week in, week out.
I think he did do an interview though with Chris Van Vliet, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he did say the original plan was for him to turn heel when he was doing the stuff with The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock rivalry. He said that was the original plan.
Well, the once in a lifetime match that ended up happening twice in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was John Cena won. The John Cena Rock won.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to turn heel.
Okay.
But obviously it didn't happen, and it happened now. I think that is the because they didn't do it then. They've decided to do it now. I think it's the best they could have done because he's on this massive babyface retirement tour. Everyone was like sad that he was retiring, this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden, then he just like boom.
It makes it interesting, doesn't it? It's not 12 months of the babyface John Cena that we know. He's coming to your town for the last time. You know, this is going to be the last time we maybe see him in London. Last time we'll see him in Scotland. maybe the last time we see him in Wales. We'll come on to that in a couple of seconds' time. But no, it is for ages. People have been saying the only thing you can do with John Cena that would complete the career. He's never won the Intercontinental title. He's like Sheamus. He needs it for the Grand Slam. Whether he does it in this run or not, I don't know. But the other thing was for him to turn heel. We've seen the heel Cena back in the early 2000s when he first debuted, and a lot of it in OVW where he was training, but we've never seen it on the main roster. We have now, Jack.
Yes. We have.
Do you agree with him, though, that he has been the victim of this abusive relationship for 25 years?
In some shape or form, yes, he has. There was times where the crowd were booing him. He said there was half the crowd would say, you suck, and all that.
I was going to mention that because for as loud as the Let's Go Cena chants were, the Cena sucks chants were equally as loud. And that was even before he started talking. You know, he came out to a crowd of boos, and then that was kind of I think the first words out of his mouth were, "You're making this so easy for me."
Yes, they were.
So, interestingly, though, we'll come to you again, Jack. No mention of The Rock.
No, none at all. It's like he's been, for lack of a better word, blacklisted by the company since his appearance at Elimination Chamber. He hasn't been seen, heard from, or anything. It's crazy.
Why do you think that is, Curtis? Obviously, the whole segment originally was The Rock wanting Cody to be his champion, which never came about because we won't repeat the words that Cody Rhodes said on this podcast because we'll probably be taken off air.
Probably.
But The Rock always has a plan B. We know board members always have plan A, B, C, and D. Plan B was John Cena. There was no mention of The Rock at all as to why John turned. Do you think that was intentional? Do you think that this promo was purely about establishing Cena as a heel and his motives behind it and trying to play him against the fans? Why do you think that Dwayne wasn't mentioned here?
I think they kind of made a little bit of a mistake not mentioning The Rock, because in the fact that he was the whole kind of reason why he turned heel in a way. But it is interesting, I will say that, like, they didn't mention
Dwayne
The Rock Johnson, but I think something else could happen. I don't know what, but
okay.
I think there's definitely something else that could happen further down the line.
Now, I think reading things online, speculation, I think for that Raw, which we mentioned earlier, which is in London on next Monday, John, Cody, and The Rock are apparently supposed to be there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very interesting. 25 minutes of TV time that took up
on
Monday night. The other thing I kind of wanted to pick up with you on this is we know that on Netflix their timing is they're not strict as to when they have to finish like they are on Friday with USA and on Tuesday with CW in America or with NXT, obviously SmackDown. But what followed that match was that segment even was a match between. Are we ready for this, Jack? Jey Uso. No, I thought you were going to eat then when I said Jey Uso.
Yeet.
There you go. And Austin Theory that apparently was supposed to go for 11 minutes.
Wow.
Which was a squash.
Which ended up going for about less than a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason apparently is because the Cena segment went over.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about that? Because they, on one hand, they tell us that they don't have to finish at a specific time. If they need more time, they can, because obviously Netflix isn't live TV in a way, it's streaming. Then on the other hand, you do have this match that's gone from 11 minutes to less than a minute. How do you feel about that?
I still think they're still pretty new to the whole Netflix deal. I still think they're trying to work out their timings as best they can. I mean, they're liable for a few mistakes, but
the thing is, though, they've said that, like you said, Luke, that they can go over time a little bit. They've got that leniency in a way, but then they've cut the match by 10 minutes effectively, because it was literally a squash match, pretty much.
10 minutes.
And then that makes Austin Theory look poor.
Practically just buried him.
Yeah.
Well, it makes him look poor, and it makes Jay-So finding it too easy, and they're trying to build up to the fact that he's got to face Gunther at WrestleMania, and we know Gunther is like up there as the hardest opponents in the men's game at the moment.
I think he's the hardest Jay's ever faced, pretty much.
It's definitely up there. It's his toughest challenge yet, I'd say. And they're building it all up just to then cut that match by 10 minutes and have him squash Austin Theory. It just doesn't look good, really. And if they so-called have the leniency, why have they cut it? So, there's questions to be asked around the Netflix type of stuff in a way.
Yes.
A lot of questions, not a lot of answers.
Do you have a word of the week for this segment that's not interesting? I imagine that's the banned list of words for the podcast.
It's going to be a long old list by WrestleMania.
Honest.
Okay.
Is one.
I know you said, Curtis, you liked his brutal honesty in this segment.
Yeah, he was brutally and honest, really. He was brutally honest with the fans that he doesn't care anymore. He's done with the fans. He's doing some of that needs to be done for a while, and yeah, it's just heartbreaking time for John Cena fans.
And then Michael Cole. Have we seen Michael Cole's response to John Cena's heel
I have.
promo? Because as soon as he was done, they cut to Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Corey Graves is back on commentary over in Europe. Obviously, there was no Pat McAfee on Raw this week. But Michael Cole said if it wasn't for the fans, then Cena wouldn't have won any of his 16 world titles. So, what do we think of Michael Cole's?
Again,
I could be the voice of WWE and probably a voice for WWE in this situation.
It was a very, very strong, winded opinion from Michael.
Yeah, very, very strong.
Very strong.
I think it can be true because wrestlers perform better when the fans are rooting for them.
But then look at someone like Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah,
Dom's just Dom.
Dom is just a word that cannot be said. Put it this way, I don't like him.
And he's doing his job correctly.
No yeet.
He is.
I've got a word of the week for this segment. Or words. You mentioned it then. Should we have brutally honest as our word of the week for this?
Should we just call the podcast Brutally Honest? We're heartbroken.
Brutally Honest with Curtis James. Or CJ.
Oh, God. That would never be able to be aired if there was a Brutally Honest podcast. Should we do a Brutally Honest podcast just for the bants?
We'll go through every single wrestler on the roster.
Oh, God.
And be brutally honest for every single
It'll be
one
your
of
old
them.
day.
Should we talk about Liv Morgan, Jack?
Oh, well.
Well, we are moving on to the women's women's
we
scene.
are.
It's also on Monday night. Jack, do you want to take it away?
Yes, there was, after that hellacious segment between John Cena, there was a contract signing in the middle of the ring between Bianca Belair and Io Shirai ahead of their match at WrestleMania. And after a few words were exchanged, we heard the so famous music of Rhea Ripley.
Well, both women signed the contract, didn't they? Before?
Yes,
And
yes,
then,
they did. Yes, and then supposedly Rhea Ripley comes down, exchanges a few words between Bianca Belair, and sort of they both, which is becoming a theme over the past few weeks, is they're ignoring Io Shirai, and she seemingly signs the contract and then puts both women through a table.
Yes.
But you were saying to me off air, Jack, that you're not sure why it had to be done this way.
I'm completely, I'd say, flabbergasted why she signed it in this way. It's very, I'm going to say again, interesting.
What way, if you were Triple H or if you were booking this, or even writing for this, actually WWE after so many writers and producers at the moment, so
Yes.
I know if Curtis was a writer for WWE, we all know what storyline he'd book. Jey Uso to win every single title.
Nah.
And Roman Reigns, and then they have a mega match at WrestleMania and win a take all.
No, I wouldn't be that cruel. If I could book it, it's a conversation to have in a couple of weeks. But if I was to book WrestleMania,
Okay.
it'd be an epic show.
Oh.
Epic
It would
show.
leave no stone unturned.
Anyway, Jack, you were talking about the way that potentially Rhea could get involved in this without, or in a different way to what they've done.
It's a very, very difficult situation at the moment because I don't really see how, unless maybe next Monday they announce something. She has a segment in the ring saying, she brings out the contract and it gets official that way, or I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, because she obviously came out, and then as she was walking away, she signed the contract
yeah,
for
And then showed it to the camera.
yeah.
There were 3 signatures on this contract.
Yeah, which is interesting. The thing is, we've said for a while now there's a chance that it could be a triple threat, and I think it's pretty obvious now that there is going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania between Io Shirai,
they are
Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. But why did she have to first of all sign the contract in this way?
Very strange.
See, all right then. Same question that I asked to Jack. I'll ask to you. If you were in charge of this, what way would you have liked to see it of being done? If you weren't happy with the way it was done.
It's not that I'm not happy with it. It's more of I don't understand the meaning behind it because it wasn't her match to get involved in.
Okay.
Bianca Belair won the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber, sorry.
Ethel Flair won the
Ethel Flair.
Royal Rumble.
Either way, it doesn't matter. They're both getting their WrestleMania title matches.
Yes.
Anyway, means the same thing, just different show. But Bianca won the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
There was a match the following Raw between Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. The winner of that match will face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania.
Indeed.
Io Shirai beat Rhea Ripley. Io Shirai is the new champion.
She is.
Yes.
Rhea Ripley doesn't have the title anymore. Nor did she win the Elimination Chamber, nor is she the champion.
There was no implications for her to get involved.
Now I'm going to contradict you both here. I think that she feels that Bianca cost her the title. Because Bianca was ringside and she was kind of not interfering, but she was there watching. Obviously, this took place the Raw after the Elimination Chamber, so at that point she had won the Chamber and was number 1 contender for WrestleMania. So the way I kind of see it is that she feels that she is being vindicated by Bianca Belair and she needs to get the revenge by taking the title back at WrestleMania. I think she feels if it wasn't for Bianca Belair, kind of costing her. I'm saying in inverted quotation marks. Because this feels very much like a heel Rhea Ripley over the past couple of weeks, ever since she lost the title.
Yeah.
But she feels that it's on Bianca as the reason why she lost the title, and that she wants to face her and obviously Io again for this Women's World title at WrestleMania, which I think I've said ever since the Elimination Chamber it's going to be a triple threat match between the three of them, which now is looking likely. I feel, though, you kind of say about why was it done in this way. I feel that Io's kind of been a bit of an afterthought in this. Yeah. It kind of feels that, I know a couple of weeks ago it was Rhea and Bianca kind of having a promo or an argument or a shouting match, I felt like, in the middle of the ring.
The champion's sort of been left.
And Io just kind of stood there, and then she tried to speak up, and Bianca kind of pushed her to the floor, and then she got back up again, and then Bianca hit her to the floor, and then I think she kind of hit both of them. And then you look at Monday on Raw.
Yeah.
You know, Bianca and Rhea face to face again, having a bit of a shouting battle, and Io was just kind of stood to the side on her own. And then obviously she got involved, and as you mentioned, Jack, she got put through a table.
I think.
Am I right in saying that Io does feel a bit of an afterthought in this situation?
Yeah, I think she's been sort of left in the shadows pretty much throughout the whole sort of program. I mean, she could. Hopefully, she does win. I'm changing my prediction, but maybe there might be a way she can get involved more. I don't know.
But then on the contrary, could you say this is really, really good booking? Because you've got these two going face to face, and you kind of wanting this baby face who keeps getting pushed down by these two other women, by Rhea and Bianca. You want this baby face who's getting put down week after week, getting put through a table, to then kind of go on and retain her title and prove to these other two women that are kind of not ignoring her, but kind of so focused on each other. Are they taking their focus away from Io Sky, which could lead to their downfall? Because very much like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre last year, where Drew was so focused on Punk and the fact that Drew had just won the title, and then Damian Priest cashed in. That kind of situation, blinded by rage,
it's kind
almost.
I'd say similar to, I know Io's the champion, but a sort of underdog type story where she sort of left not involved with much, obviously been sort of looked over, I think, as a champion, which is not deserved, because she's done tremendously well.
Curtis, you said, again, going back to what we talked about off air, you said the match isn't hers to get involved with.
Yeah.
Now, if you feel that way, and you feel like she shouldn't be in this match, who does Rhea face at WrestleMania? Who would you put her in the ring with? We've done the Liv Morgan stuff to death. Sorry, Jack. We've... What else is there for her to do outside of this that you could make a credible argument for?
Bring Becky back. Start a feud with her.
Like they did 12 months ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I get the idea of them having a triple threat. I get that. I've got no hate towards it. I just feel there probably would have been better ways around it. But, you know, it's still early days. She just signed the contract. Nobody knows what's actually going to happen. I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow what's going to happen and what the whole meaning behind it is. It's pretty obvious it's going to be a triple threat. I think Adam Pearce will probably come out, or Rhea will come out, and then they'll have like a thing. Adam Pearce will come out and be like, right, that's it. It's a triple threat at WrestleMania. Whatnot. So I think that could be a very big possibility, but you are right. She's got no one else to face at WrestleMania. There is no one really for her to face at Mania. So I don't know, but yeet in it.
Eating it.
Yeah,
I love this podcast sometimes.
Same. So, yeah, talking of WrestleMania and talking about matches, one mega match has been announced. It's got some of our all-time favourite wrestlers in it.
Yes.
We've predicted it
And
for
Seth
a while.
Rollins.
And Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and
Okay, we love you, Seth. We love you, Seth.
two favourites, just Seth on the side.
And Seth Rollins.
We're obviously talking about CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. But before the match became official, put your ones to the sky for Roman Reigns, boo CM Punk, boo, and do whatever you want for Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns came to the ring with Paul Heyman by his side. Seth Rollins then came out, and then CM Punk came out.
Yep.
CM Punk basically turned around and said to Roman Reigns, to Paul Heyman, thanks for bringing Roman Reigns as like a side dish or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then they kind of started battling then, but it started off very well. Roman's promo was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The promo side of it all was really good.
Are we seeing more of a return to the old tribal chief? Now he's got the Yule Fowler back,
He did say,
and B, he is the undisputed tribal chief. Are we seeing that kind of
he did
world title Roman Reigns tribal chief return?
I think so at some point. Could he somewhere further down the line, if Jay wins at Mania, they could have another one-on-one. The thing is, you don't want to keep it repetitive, but I reckon something. So we'll know more after WrestleMania.
There's definitely story in there if Jey Uso does go on to win the world title, especially with them teaming at Survivor Series War Games.
And I think
they're
the
kind
fact
of on the same page as a family.
I think also the fact of Jay pinned Roman. He was the first person to do it in such a while. So Roman may go on a kind of a thing of getting back at people now that he's lost the world title to Cody. I think he'll go back, and all the people that have messed with him, he could go back and kind of have storylines with them. But
there's also a rivalry there between Roman and Punk.
Definitely.
I'd like to see.
CM Punk still has the favour to use with Paul Heyman. He did briefly mention it and kind of said we'll get into it a bit later, but then they started brawling.
Yeah, they never went back to it.
They never went back to it.
I have a theory on the favour, which we'll come on to in a little bit.
Yeah. The kind of the fight inside of it all was kind of half-hearted in a way.
Yeah.
I don't mean it was half-hearted. I mean like the promo was really strong, and then the bit where they were actually in the ring scrapping just didn't look that entertaining. I think that's just kind of it's not due to kind of what they did. I think it was just kind of like in the moment it wasn't executed very well. Then all three people, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, individually pointed at the WrestleMania sign and said, "It's us three at Mania." Then later on, after SmackDown, it got confirmed by WWE online on social media that it is going to be Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Luke.
Hi.
You mentioned your theory behind the kind of the favour off air, which ties into the WrestleMania kind of stuff from what you said. What is the favour, do you think?
So yes, this favour that you mentioned, and yeah, I think I know kind of where they might be going with this. It's kind of, ever since Survivor Series, the overarching question around Punk is, what is the favour? What could it be used for? Could he use it at the Royal Rumble? Could he use it to insert himself into a world title match? What's the one thing that CM Punk has mentioned since returning to WWE he wants to do?
Main event WrestleMania.
Main event WrestleMania. Now, unlike when he was there before, and the last time he competed at WrestleMania, it's now 2 nights.
Yes.
And a couple of weeks ago on this podcast, we asked what would main event night 1. We knew that Cody and Cena would main event night 2. What would main event night 1? Could it be Gunther and Jay? Could it be Tiffany and Charlotte? Maybe it could be the triple threat match.
Yeah.
I think the favour, I'm probably going to be completely wrong, but this is why we love professional wrestling. I think the favour is going to end up being CM Punk uses the favour to get this match as the main event of WrestleMania.
Ooh.
He doesn't necessarily need the world title or a world title to main event of WrestleMania. If you look last year, what was the main event of night 1?
The tag match between...
Exactly. Was there any... I know you had Roman and The Rock.
Yeah.
Roman obviously was the champion, and The Rock the night before gave himself a championship from Muhammad Ali's wife, which... Yeah, that happened, but it doesn't necessarily need a world title. Plus, when you've got the star power of Roman Reigns, who held the title for 1,316 days, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk...
I think it could just main event.
It's a main event in any city in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Especially in a triple threat match with the history with them all. Especially with Paul Heyman involved. Obviously, we know the links with Punk and Heyman. The deep admiration Heyman has for Punk. So I think the favour is that he will get this match to main event night 1.
I agree. I think they're all deserved of main eventing WrestleMania 100%. I think this year, though, you've got so many great matches, it's difficult to set in stone who main events.
You do, but Paul
Yes.
Heyman has power backstage, and Punk knows that.
Of course he does. But
It does make sense in my eyes, anyway.
yeah, I can see it now more than anything. But yeah, I think so too. I think
Paul could possibly turn on
But-
Roman Reigns.
But I've got
do.
a favour for
Possibly.
Luke though.
Oh God.
Sign this damn contract so we can main event WrestleMania.
What do you think, Jack? Do you think that this favour could be used for Punk to insert himself or insert this match as the main event of WrestleMania? Does the main event of WrestleMania need a title match on the line?
The more and more I think about it, I'm leaning towards it being used as a main event because, like you say, it doesn't need a title just to main event. The star power does it justice on its own. For me personally,
Yeah, and it is that star power that does carry it towards that main event. It's definitely, without this favour, it's definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely one that is a contender along with some of the other matches I've just mentioned.
I'll be heavily looking forward to this match.
I will be as well. We know the history with the three of them, but as you do say, Curtis, they were brawling. There was a bit of a battle of words to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
and then a fight broke out. Very similar to what we've seen with Seth and Punk 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, the week before their steel cage match, which Roman obviously famously returned in. So, and then started off with Punk pointing at the WrestleMania sign. Then it was Seth. Then it was Roman.
Yeah.
And then it ended with them all brawling. For a bit of a while, the speculation was the match was going to be between Seth and Roman, and the favour was Punk is inserted in that match.
Which is what I thought was going to happen, but now it's been announced as a triple threat. I think it definitely will be. CM Punk goes to Paul Heyman and says, I want this match to main event WrestleMania. Go backstage and get this match official for main event night 1.
Yeah.
Or night 2. I think it will be night 1 more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's...
You'll have Cena against Cody as your main event of night 2.
So do we see maybe Jay opening WrestleMania?
Yes.
Jay versus Gunther opening WrestleMania?
Potentially.
But, yeah, interesting. Apparently they've only sold 49,000 tickets for WrestleMania this year. and the capacity is 51,000. Well, the ticket capacity for it is 51,000.
They'll sell out.
They're closest. Yeah,
But
they're
I think they
close.
will
They're
sell
close,
out as
definitely.
more time matches get announced. But yeah,
Especially
They'll
it's a
sell
2-night
out.
event. They will sell out.
Fun fact, this is going to be Roman Reigns' first WrestleMania non-title match since 2019.
Wow.
When he faced? Any guesses?
who did he face at WrestleMania?
2019 WrestleMania. Who did he face? Drew McIntyre.
Interesting.
Drew McIntyre he faced at WrestleMania in 2019, which is... He beat Drew McIntyre as well, and it was his last non-title
Yes.
match at Mania since... until this year. It just goes to show Roman, arguably, I know you got Cody at the moment, Roman has been the face of WrestleMania. He's always been in these title matches.
And if it does main event, that won't break his streak.
Yes, of course. Roman does main event in 2 last year, didn't he? You enjoyed it though, Jack, and you would like to see them maybe confirm it on the mic rather than on social media.
Yes. As you said, they all three of them point to the sign. I would have kind of liked them to sort of confirm it on the mic between the three. Like I want to see you at Mania, like what they usually do. But I guess they go in a sort of a interesting direction where it's subliminal. Like they point and it's like
We all know what WrestleMania sign point means.
yeah.
At this time of year, we all know what it means. But yeah, anything else you'd like to add to this? What else do you think about this match?
I am very excited to see this match play out.
Any early shouts of a winner? That's going to be the thing, isn't it? Who wins and who
Yeet.
gets pinned?
Roman.
That's going to be
Roman.
a really important coming out of it anyway. 'Cause we all know Roman Reigns after WrestleMania takes a massively long break
I think it'll probably be CM Punk more than anyone, I reckon.
to win. Okay.
Because I think Roman will probably go on a break for a bit because he's been appearing a lot more recently than he has in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Well,
Who's champion?
it was Royal Rumble and then last Monday and now tonight on Friday.
But I think he was going to take time off at Royal Rumble. They played that out well.
Yes.
They played the fact that Seth tried to kill him, as Roman said on Friday.
They
And
always say, "Oh, he tried to kill me. He tried to do this."
I mean, when Wyatt Six debuted, Chad Gable got killed.
oh yeah.
He got absolutely brutally decapitated, is what I'm going to say. Someone else got nearly decapitated.
Well, we'll come on to that in a little bit. I just got one last thing for kind of
Of course you do.
WWE, of course.
You
I do.
always have one thing that goes on for an hour.
One last thing.
One last big thing.
Obviously, we know that WWE at the moment are on their European tour, which
They
we
are
spoke
indeed.
about towards the start of
Yes.
this podcast.
Yes.
They, however, have announced they're coming back to, I think it's more the UK and
more-
Ireland
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the run-up to Clash in Paris.
Should we get the dates up? Should we find the dates and the locations up?
Yes. Now, they've announced some TV shows and they've announced some house shows.
So we've got.
Take it away, Curtis.
Hold on. If my Instagram wants to work. Here we go. I've got it. Right. So Friday, the 22nd of August, is SmackDown, which is my birthday, funnily enough.
Oh, wow.
Is in Dublin.
Massive for Irish wrestling. We
100%.
know the state of Irish wrestling. When we spoke to Leon Cage and we spoke to Brandon White before, we know that the UK independent scene is thriving at the moment, and I think Ireland and
It's like JD McDonough did an interview with Chris Van Vliet last week, and he said like the Irish wrestling is so good at the minute, and the UK scene is like elevated so much.
plus you got Irish superstars. Lara Valkyrie's a champion at the moment. Finn Balor's been a former world champion. Sheamus is Sheamus. Probably have Becky Lynch back in the fold by then. So massive for Irish wrestling.
So then on Saturday the 23rd, they fly over to Liverpool.
Yes.
We do.
for just the Road to Clash in Paris show. Then Sunday they're in Newcastle. Monday Night Raw is in Birmingham.
Okay.
In the BP Pulse Live Arena. Then Tuesday they're in Manchester in the AO Arena. Wednesday they're in Leeds. So this is all in August, towards the last week of August.
Yeah.
Then Thursday, the big one,
Cardiff.
they are in Cardiff in the Utilita Arena, which I think we'll probably end up going to that, I reckon.
Hopefully.
Should we go to
Fingers
that? I reckon we should. And then Friday for SmackDown, they're in Lyon,
crossed.
France.
Lyon, yes.
So
Same arena, obviously, that we seen Backlash in
Yeah.
last
Yes.
year.
the LDLC Arena.
Yes.
Bit of a tongue twister, that.
Now, you're going to hate my next question, what I'm going to talk about here, Curtis.
God.
Does this mean the UK isn't getting a premium live event this year?
I think so.
We've seen now 2 European tours heavily come through the UK. We have Raw on Monday in Glasgow, SmackDown in Edinburgh, SmackDown in London, and Raw then I think is in London. They've got 2 nights of the O2.
I mean, there is nothing.
And obviously this tour coming up in August. Does this kind of signify that we're getting TV shows rather than...
There's no... I don't think there is any premium live events for us to have unless they create another one.
Well, you say that. What about something like Money in the Bank that came here a couple of years ago? Could we have a normally stipulated premium live event that comes here?
I know what we should have.
Okay.
Bad Blood.
Are they going to bring that back this year, do you think?
I think they should. Imagine Bad Blood in London.
Wow.
They could do it in the O2 Arena.
Okay.
I don't think it's not worthy to go to go to Wembley Stadium. Sorry, I don't think it would be that big enough. I mean, it could be. They could make it that big.
Okay.
They've got
Principality
Principality in
possibly.
Cardiff. They could do it there. They did Clash of the Castle there.
Mm-hmm.
So I reckon Bad Blood. Imagine Bad Blood in Wales, in Cardiff. That would be epic.
Now, that tour coincides with another major event that's happening in the UK. That tour starts at the same time that AEW present Forbidden Door in London.
Interesting.
Forbidden Door's the 24th of August, and if you get that list back up in front of you for a second, Curtis.
They're in Newcastle on that night, on the 24th.
They're in
Yes,
the
they
UK doing a UK tour.
Yeah, so they're in Dublin, Liverpool, Newcastle. Interesting. So, it's going to be a busy week for us.
I'd say, I put the question to you two of, obviously, does this mean that we're not getting a premium live event? It means we are.
Yeah.
We're getting a pay-per-view in Forbidden Door.
Not a WWE one.
Not
no.
a WWE one, no.
Is this purposefully done?
I think so.
Have they done the road to Clash in Paris because of the success of this road to WrestleMania in Europe, or have they done it as a counter reaction to AEW?
I think it's a counter reaction because, the over the weekend they're in Liverpool and Newcastle, and then Monday they go to Birmingham. So they could have been smart and put another London date on here.
Yeah.
They could have. They could have maybe got rid of Leeds, maybe, and put
Leeds. What's Leeds done?
Or they could have got rid of Newcastle as well. They could have gone somewhere and gone to London, just like the O2 Arena, maybe on the same timers. But then again, they might not have been able to go to the O2 because that might have been booked for AEW Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Because we know it's not going to go to Wembley Stadium. It's not big enough to go to Wembley Stadium. It's going to go to... The only other arena it could go to is the O2 Arena. So that might have been the reason why they haven't got a London date on there. They should have been smart and booked WrestleMania. And or no, maybe not so much WrestleMania. They should have... a premium live event, and they should have booked that for August. and stuck that in Wembley Stadium.
Like you said, Bad Blood would have been nice.
Yeah, Bad Bloods in August. Yeah, have that. Big thank you to AEW.
There's some bad blood in the studio today.
Take that, Tony Khan. Talking about AEW.
On the subject of his promotion,
Yes.
we'll round off with AEW this week. We kicked off and had a good segment on it last week. We'll finish off with it this week. Now, the overarching thing we spoke about last week, the Revolution pay-per-view, was the main event between Jon Moxley and Cope, aka
Yes.
Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge.
On this day, I see clearly.
Do we though? Because on Dynamite this week they had a rematch.
They did, yes.
Which, how do you kind of feel about a major, your main event of a big pay-per-view having a rematch on a TV show in front of which you can watch for not free, but you don't have to pay £60 or $60 to watch it.
Definitely a change. I thought personally it was a very, very solid match. Quite controversially, I enjoyed the spike spot.
Oof.
They did.
Yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to pick up with you guys. Because we've seen, since he debuted in AEW, I think he's brought along with him for a few matches
Yes.
this kind of stick that's got spikes on. And we knew at some point it would happen. It did happen, though, on this week's Dynamite, where he suplexed Jon Moxley onto the spikes, and the spikes stuck into his back. It was very, that kind of reaction. It was very gruesome to watch live in the moment. And then when you've got the ringside doctors or the referees trying to pull out of his back, and you could see the bloods, and it's not for the faint of hearted.
We have some breaking news.
Okay,
Go on.
It's not with AEW though, but it's with WWE.
go on.
So it's tomorrow's Raw. We have 2 matches that have been announced.
Yeah.
Bron Breakker versus Penta for the Intercontinental title.
Okay.
Ooh.
And Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable.
Don't you mean Lucha Gable?
Well, Chad Gable, Lucha Gable, whoever the hell you want to call him, Mystery Man.
Wonder why that's
Can't see him John Cena style, all that. Is he the new mini John Cena? Hornswoggle style.
So, that's breaking news. We'll talk about that probably on next week's podcast when we review Monday Night Raw. AEW, though, for the time being.
Yes.
Let's finish off with these. We've only got a couple of minutes left left on air. Yeah, what do you think about Spike Spot before we go into a little bit more into my opinion on this?
It was a good match. I think the reason why they did it so soon, the rematch, was because of the bad reaction they got off social media.
Okay.
But the Spike Spot was... and that's the one thing I like about AEW.
Oh, is he going to praise AEW?
Ooh.
This is the one
first.
thing I do like about AEW, is the brutality of the matches.
They don't hold back, do they?
They don't mess about, especially when it's Jon Moxley.
There's definitely no limit.
But there's no limits, like the glass, like massive sheets of glass everywhere, Darby Allin type style.
Paper bags.
Choking
Plastic bag.
plastic bags.
Or paper.
Big up the turtles. And stuff like that is what I think would be good if WWE kind of brought that in as well. That would up them to another level. But I think that's the one thing AEW hold over WWE.
Yeah.
Is the brutality side of things. The most we're kind of getting is like the barbed wire chair is kind of as much as we're getting in WWE nowadays. There's not really too much, but the Spike spot was brutal. Like Rhea Ripley brutal. Like, this is my brutality type style.
I was going to say that.
But
interesting thing about this match, and I know me and you watched it just before we come on air today, Jack.
Yes.
Moxley didn't pin Cope. Cope passed out.
No, he went for a pin. He kicked out,
and then he went straight into the Bulldog to choke out Cope. I nearly called him Edge then.
This is why.
Force of habit.
I think they've done that to kind of protect him, though, haven't they?
Yes and no. They've done it to protect him, you could argue. But they done it to set up a triple threat match potentially down the line, or allow Cope to have another match for the world title.
This is why I think there's going to hopefully be
Three times
a
the
third
charm.
match
Because
between the two.
if you watch the match, it was more that he was cost by the patriarchy, which obviously, as we know, is Christian Cage's his group. So he was cost by Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian got themselves involved in this. So I could see it having another match, or I could see them Edge and Christian having another match. Sorry, Cope and Christian Cage having another match down the line before maybe forming a tag team. We know that they are one of the legendary tag teams of all time. How do you think they could play it out? We know Swerve is the number one contender. We know he beat Ricochet at Revolution to become the number one contender.
Now you're saying it, I really would like the idea of a triple threat match between Cope, John Moxley, and Swerve Strickland.
Okay, with Swerve in there as well. Okay.
Yes.
But you said it was a very solid match, though, Jack. I think the only thing it will be remembered for, unfortunately, is that spike spot, which has got quite a few headlines online. We speak about WWE getting headlines with, like, Cena's heel turn and some of the celebrity names they get in.
I think it's a good thing, though.
Yeah?
As much as it was brutal, I think it was a good thing that they're getting attention for that match. I think that's the one thing they've kind of struggled to do over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months as well, is struggle to get the attention of kind of get AW talking. So I think the more brutal spots that they do and the more meaning behind it,
would help them sell tickets.
It'll help them not only get better at storylines, it will help them get better at eyes on the company, even more eyes, and I think overall it will help the company, which is what they ultimately want.
Are we all wrestled out now?
Yes, we are.
Just picking up quickly to finish off the podcast. Those two matches you said were announced for tomorrow, Curtis.
Yeah.
We've seen Braun Breaker defeat Finn Balor last week. We now see him face Penta this week. Mm-hmm. Are we heading towards maybe multi-man match at WrestleMania for this Intercontinental title?
I think so.
I'd like to see a ladder match.
So we potentially know 3: Breaker, we have Finn Balor, and we have Penta. Who else would you like to see in this match?
Sheamus.
Yeah.
Just as a...
Definitely. Curtis,
obvious.
any other names you'd like to throw out there?
Jimmy Uso.
You don't think he's going to go for the US title?
Actually, yeah. Wrong title. Wrong person.
No yeet.
No yeet. I don't know. Carmelo Hayes, maybe?
Okay. Again, I think he's on SmackDown, isn't he? So I think he'd be going for...
Just chuck him in a unification match for the Intercontinental title, United States title. How about that? Yeet.
As Curtis has wild dreams about potential booking ideas for WrestleMania, me and Jack are off to... well, Jack, you're still off to recover from last night, aren't you?
Yes, I've had a lot of tea.
He's been on the tea. I'm on the water. Curtis is on the yeet stuff. And we will continue to be on that, and we'll continue to watch a lot of wrestling, and we'll catch up with you next week on another edition of the Are You Ready Wrestling podcast. We'll see you then.